All right, so we've been talking a lot today about improving product experiences, but also improving how we work with content. And the final segment of today's Slumium is coming from Salim itself. One of its digital strategy consultants is here now to talk about unlocking value in the Endgame experience. He has over 20 years of work experience providing ideas and solutions to many companies, and he's worked abroad in Germany, Poland, UK, and now here at Salem in Austria. Please welcome Peter Lehre.
Yeah, thank you, Anna, for the introduction, and it's really great to be here with you. I think this is the final stage of today, so a little gameplay, if you like, end game, also end of the day. Unfortunately, to the audience online, welcome. We are looking into a really great evening also with the audience here in this place. The sun is shining, so let me give you this last final thought for today, and happy to have discussions with you also in the later evening. So content, obviously, we heard a lot about your content journeys, about the content operations that you're running, all the hard work of many years putting into making the content operations professional division and making it most effective. So this is obviously part of the digital experience in the enterprise and to make it most effective. But let's take a step back for a moment. Experience, the term experience, you can associate it with different aspects. If you do a quick search, it's sort of an event, it's an encounter, or a test or a trial. So this is, the term experience is heavily used for many years in lots of contexts and combinations. So the experience obviously is a complex term, but what we're experiencing now, and this is a very recent article on Forbes in current marketing, so people are getting actually tired of choosing. They're getting so many choices, they're getting so much content shown, and they're simply overwhelmed by the digital choices and a lot of content that they get to see. So what's their reaction? Obviously, they tend to focus on a few single brands that they know, that they trust, and there's very little other brands that can really cut through this race of getting the attention. So there's a survey confirming that 9 out of 10, so that's almost everyone. They confirmed, and this is a recent survey from 2019, they confirmed that there's the brand loyalty obviously is a very strong impact on their experience, and even 60% of them say that they are loyal to a maximum of, so to say, 5 brands. So it's really focusing on a very narrow group of brands. And this is something you saw in the opening keynote in the morning also. 77% of consumers or shoppers that were part of this survey say that the relation to the particular product, so why they believe in something is the product, and this is the number one reason why they are loyal to a brand. So in all this sphere of experiences, the thing that shines out is the product content that supports it, and let's not forget that the visual appearance of the product and the content is a key deciding factor in whether they make a decision to engage, to buy, to stay loyal with your brand. So this is a really key part of bringing over the experience of a product. but the reality is, as already mentioned, the impact of experiences is sort of devaluating. This is from also a very recent survey from Gartner about digital experience, customer survey. So what they found out, and this is really recent information, that almost half of the consumers say that they cannot tell the difference between one brand or the other. So this is, and maybe even more interesting is to see that 85% of the customers believe that most experiences they make, they don't have any impact on their buying decision, right? So, so all the noise that is around there is already, this is the impact that you get from having so many experiences and so many content out there. So the efficiency and the effectivity of the content is really important. Yeah, and another result is obviously that very little portion of consumers is actually taking an action from a recent digital experience. So giving you some examples of good practice of excitement. Obviously, everyone knows this company, Disney, and the Disney fun parks. So this is an armrest they introduced 2-3 years ago, which gives you a certain advantage when you're in the park. So you have quicker access to certain attractions, so you use it when you enter the scene, and you have certain advantages like a fast lane and so on. Very recent, they made the next step. They call this Genie, so the ghost out of the bottle. And obviously, all this is also connected to an app, and they promote the attractions with content. So that's where the content comes in. What happened now is that there's a special option to top up, so you pay extra. It's like $15 per person a day, and that gives you extra rides to use certain attractions faster. Obviously here you can top up during the experience in the park, and so here where the content comes in is really they display the attractions. They even show if there's a queue or a no queue, so it keeps you engaged, and the content really helps to upsell for the attendees in the park. Maybe another example, and I think most of you know this and have seen this in a shopping experience with IKEA. They introduced, I think 3 years ago, this augmented reality feature. I think they have currently more than 3,000 products in the store already. And so obviously you can take a picture of your home, of a place, and then you place a certain product so you can better imagine how it looks in your home. And it's, I think 98%, from giving you the exact shape of the place. Yeah, and it's going so well that actually they decided that any new product that's coming on their store is now available on this feature. So this obviously has direct impact on their sales. They don't publish the numbers from this, but it shows that they're extending the service. So here content plays a major role in selling. Another example, and this is one of the leading franchise companies in the world. I mean, we all know the ones with the burgers and the chicken, but this one is also quite close in the top ranking. So they are the main supplier of pizza. Maybe some of you have heard about them. They have more than 17,000 locations around the world. We have a few of them in Vienna. Obviously they follow this principle of zero-click ordering. Maybe you know this from a zero-click search. This is the idea when you search something on Google and you don't even have to click any of the links. It gives you a lot of information already, and quite often this is quite sufficient, and you don't even do another click. And the idea, they introduced this with this app. so you put a profile behind this, and you only need to open the app, and it's already sending the order. So you have 10 seconds to stop it if you want to change the order. But if it's a routine, like for your lunch meal, and you know anyway which one you want, so and they also you have this on the phone, but they integrate with other devices like Alexa, and even in the US you can put it on your car. So I think this is a Ford. So yeah. Obviously, content also plays a role here because it has to be very activating. You have very little time for making a decision. So there's another story where it's important to be aware of the experience, the digital experience of the user, and what kind of content has to come in here to play a key role. Let me give you one more example. We've referred to cars a couple of times today. So with Tesla, a couple of Teslas outside also. They keep changing their go-to-market approach, right? Maybe you remember 2-3 years ago, they decided to have on-site stores where they show the cars in the best places in the city, right? The really like a luxury locations. Then they changed that 2 years ago and said, or they had the idea that actually they will switch to online sales only, right? So close those locations. And then, recently they decided that also given the COVID situation, obviously, that they offer you a zero contact experience. So there's a virtual assistant preparing the car. You agree a test drive, and they prepare the car. And when you enter the car, there's a menu in the car, and it guides you through the process, giving you a lot of pictures of how you can make use of it, and while the advisor is still with you and giving you explanations, and you can ask questions. So obviously also here the content has to be very engaging and informing about the options. So this is a survey also that was mentioned in the morning. Very recent survey done by Gartner with 400 marketing leaders in the world across different industries, and they were asked for this year where they think what is the main priority for them this year, and they clearly said that their main purpose is to create new digital experiences. Whereas all the other points, so like technology upgrades or optimization of an existing channel is of a lower priority. So there are really questions to create totally new experiences, because this is the new factor in the game. Obviously, new sales channels or new go-to-market, like mentioned before, are also key initiatives. But it's quite interesting to see that for the first time in this survey, this comes out as a top priority in their perspectives. And even more, they are feeling some, in the heads of marketing, feeling some pressure nowadays, because you remember some years ago it was the IT taking care of the applications and the software, then the marketing has took over, or of the digital marketing technologies, and now there's another player in the game, the head of digital or chief digital officers, and from another survey they found out that with CEOs they are really considering to put that on a, to take things like digital experience or also the digital commerce preferences into a separate group, and the marketing is only becoming a supporting role. So watch out for heads of marketing. There's another player in the game also in the enterprise. And one thing more to mention, that obviously content plays different roles in all these capabilities and services. So sometimes the content is the key actor in the game, sometimes it's a side actor, sometimes it's just supportive or very specialized content. So this is something to think about. What's the purpose actually of content supporting these experiences? And finally, also from the survey, I want to give you this, that still the marketing budget this year is mostly focusing on digital commerce and marketing operations. And obviously from Selum and you see a bit lower here, content creation is also in the ranks, and obviously that's the parts where we focus on, help you create the content, managing the content is part of the marketing operations, and the routing, as we say, is focusing on the digital commerce, for example. So yeah, I think I would close with this and hand over for questions, comments, thoughts, and also looking forward to a discussion later in the evening.
Thank you very much. Wonderful. So, I mean, do we have any questions as right away off the bat? Because, I mean, you mentioned that for CMOs, one of the top priorities nowadays from that survey was creating new experiences, right? So, I mean, content creation is obviously a challenge. If you only have a team with a certain amount of members, they can only produce a certain amount of content. They can't multiply exponentially like Markus Petzl would like or something. But do you think AI has a large role here to play in content creation?
Certainly, in many ways, both in creating it by the AI itself, because it can factor in much more influences or the potential impact that the content should have. So it's like analyzing needs of customers. So you can automate this process. It's also the idea of market research automation. AI is also faster, obviously. So the time to market to produce content gets shorter, and obviously we saw the challenge with the experiences. So to be very recent, and also as we heard before, internally also AI can help you to obviously to organize content that you have already, and so on. So,
and I'm sure there'll be a lot of AI-assisted content creators that are using both the tool and AI making it on their own.
Anything, yeah, in that sense is possible. Obviously, I think AI is playing a big role also in the arts space. So it's creating music, it's creating pictures nowadays. So I guess we will see that this is coming more into the enterprise marketing level as well of content creation.
Yeah, definitely, and it's moving up, and in terms of getting a role at the enterprise level and a status there, content creation, yeah.
Definitely. Well, we will see how far this will go, because content in that sense, well, it will not be so reactive anymore. We'll know the purpose first. We know that we want to help on the buying experience, and the content has to support that purpose, and not the other way around, that there is content, and hopefully the buyer is seeing the information that they look for. Yeah.
Yeah, it's an interesting development for sure. And I mean, it's great that Selum has so many tools and features to support the content creators and the other roles at organizations there. Do we have any questions from our chat or from the audience here today? No? Okay, well then, Peter, thank you very much, Peter Lehre from Selum, for his speech.